Some Ghanaians complaining about the fuel price increases, which is one of the issues that the Fix the Country movement is trying to deal with in its planned demonstration this Sunday. Now, Vice President Dr. Bawumia has stressed that the remarkable track record of the Akufo-Addo government in fixing problems means the government is on course to tackle economic challenges brought about by the effects of the coronavirus on world economies. Now, we're joined on the line now by Gideon Waku, who's the economic advisor to the Vice President, and hopefully we're going to get some responses from him as far as the Fix the Country demonstration is going on and the complaints that have come up. Thank you very much for making time to speak with us, Dr. Waku. So, you've heard the complaints of the Fix the Country demonstration. What is the Vice President's response to all of this? Because he's come up strongly in all the conversations.
Well, I think you've read what the Vice President put out today. Basically, agreeing that, in effect, people are suffering, and the issue of hardship is something that is not a new story to all of us. Day in, day out, people have different expectations, and expectations keep growing day by day. And in as much as we don't have the totality of our expectations met, we may express some misgivings or react to our present situation and sometimes question it as having been going through some level of hardships. It is not in the interest of anybody for government to downplay the genuine cause and complaints by the citizenry that indeed they are going through some hardships. Government appreciates that position.
Yes, Dr. Gideon Waku, you indicate that the Vice President is aware that people are suffering, but yes, this is the suffering that the Vice President, together with the President or the then candidate Akufo-Addo, came in or promised to address, which is why they were voted into power in 2016.
Yes, I was making a point, and what we shouldn't lose sight of is that sufferings have always been with us. We will experience suffering. It does not mean that a government should sit down and say that because it's an old age problem, we wouldn't do anything about it. That is why the information the Vice President put out suggested that yes, indeed, we acknowledge the fact that there are suffering, but these are the things that we have been doing or have done to mitigate the suffering of the people. And you need to go through them one by one, and you realize that indeed some efforts have been put in place to make sure that the sufferings and the hardships that Ghanaians used to face are brought down. It does not in any way suggest that the measures or the things that government has done, we've been able to wipe off all the hardships of everybody in this country. We are not saying that, far from that. But what we are saying is that we appreciate and acknowledge the fact that indeed some people may be going through hardships, of which all of us, depending on our expectations that are met or not met, we may indicate that we are in some level of hardships. They are in different forms. But these are the interventions we are doing to mitigate those suffering, and going forward also, these are the things that we intend to do. That is basically what we're talking about. Nobody is trivializing the matter. Nobody is saying that people are not suffering. But in the midst of the suffering, what has government been able to do, or what is government doing to make sure that the sufferings are brought to the barest minimum? And some of the things that government have been doing are the things that the Vice President put out.
All right. Now, Dr. Gideon Waku, I want to make reference to something that the Vice President said in the Facebook post, which we're going to be sharing with you right about now. So it goes, we are 4 months into our 4-year mandate. The job of government is to fix problems. Now, 4 months into a 4-year mandate, fails to acknowledge the fact that there's been some 4 years already since 2016.
That cannot be right. What we need to understand is that President Akufo-Addo was given the first 4-year mandate and has been given another 4-year mandate. So
and the complaints of the people is not restricted to the first 4 months of
Don't simplify it in that context. What the Vice President was trying to say is that we are talking about the 4-year mandate of President Akufo-Addo that we are in now, and we are 4 months into that. He is not in any way saying that President Akufo-Addo has not been in power for the past 4 years. He hasn't said that. If anybody is talking about the mandate, the current mandate of President Akufo-Addo, it is right for anybody to say that he's 4 months into that. Everybody knows that President Akufo-Addo has been the president since 2017. First term, second term, put everything together, it makes 8 years. But the next or the second term, which is the next 4 years, 4 months into that, it does not in any way suggest that we should decouple the previous 4 years from what is happening now. That is even not the most important thing. The most important thing is that government acknowledges that genuinely there are people who have unmet expectations, okay? And what have we done or can we do to make sure that as we move forward, all those who have unmet expectations would be met some way? It is not easy for a government to be able to solve the problems of everybody. And I don't think that is what we, the citizenry, we have been trying to call for. We know that government may not be able to solve all our problems, but we want government to do the right thing, such that some of the basic problems that we encounter on a daily basis, we will see them being solved, or the expectation of them being solved. There will be some indication to that effect. That is what Ghanaians want.
All right.
And I think that is a genuine concern. That is why government is saying that, yes, we are working at them to fix them. But in the meantime, these are the steps that we have taken that we think are very good steps and meet the problems halfway. And going forward, these are the things that we're going to do to make sure that we bring the problems, bring solutions to the problems. That is basically what we're talking about.
All right, Dr. Gideon Boako, yes, you've indicated that government is taking some steps, but from all indications and from what the Fix the Country movement is talking about and per their demonstration, it appears that what government is doing is not being acknowledged by the people, or it's not good enough for the as far as the people are concerned.
It's fair for anybody who has unmet expectations to say that he or she is not satisfied with what is happening. But the truism is also that government is committed to do what it has to do to solve the problems, and we're doing that. What we shouldn't forget also is that the coronavirus has its own ravages that is caused to the continent, to the whole world, and everybody seems to be suffering from that. The scourge of the coronavirus is something that has affected almost every nation. And if you listen to the complaints people are making now, we're talking about increases in prices of cement, some imported goods, and all of that. Things that hitherto, prior to 2020, we wouldn't have complained about them the way we are complaining now. We are complaining now ostensibly because the effects of coronavirus have had a big dent in the hardships that we are experiencing today. And we cannot also say as a government that because of coronavirus and its concomitant effects on the livelihoods and lives of the people, we should throw our hands in despair to say that we cannot do anything about it. Government is voted to solve problems, help address the issues, and as and when they come, government must own up to the challenge and face them. That is why we appreciate the call for visit. And then we are going to fix it, and we are in the process of fixing them. We do not intend to make this a political comparison or equivalence issue. But indeed, Ghanaian people appreciate that even in the midst of the coronavirus, President Kufuor put in place some serious mitigating measures that all of us can attest to. Be that as they were, they are or were in totality able to address all the challenges that Ghanaians face. And these are some of the challenges we are talking about, challenges that have been with us since ages. Different governments, and we're still confronted with those challenges.
All right, thank you very much,
Dr.
Gideon Buako. Thank you very much. We would have to move on from here, but thank you very much for making time. Dr. Gideon Buako is economic advisor to the Vice President.